Swaggy vet, attention! Right, pace, forward!
You are now on the set of the Swaggy Vet Show. We do it for the sisters, bros from coast to coast. A place where it's safe to go to make sure that a soldier's stories are told. All around the globe, going worldwide, representing military pride. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe.
You should already be at the position of a 10 for them boys when they come out, the original first Swaggy veteran. And then you got that boy Big Pen. Hey man, salute me or shoot me. And if you ain't no vet, you better not talk like one.
All right, boom. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Swaggy Vet Podcast. I'm your host, Big Pen. I got my co-host here with me, Super Swaggy. What's up, my man?
What's going on, y'all, man? It's another great one, baby. It's another great day to be here.
Hey, man, we got an amazing guest today. Our guest is a Air Force combat controller turned UFC fighter. From surviving one of the toughest special operations pipelines on the planet to stepping inside the octagon with the same warrior mindset. Connor's journey is all about resilience, discipline, and refusing to quit. He's a veteran, a fighter, and a prime example on what it means to attack every mission with purpose. We got coming to the stage our boy Connor, the controller Matthews. Yeah.
How you guys doing? Thank you for having me on, man. Appreciate it.
Now listen, I'm not as good as Bruce Buffer is, Connor, but I tried to do you some justice here, my man.
I appreciate it. That's a great intro, man. One of the best. So you did a great job. I appreciate
Thank you,
that.
sir. I appreciate you. Now, you're a Boston man.
Yes, sir.
Let's talk about growing up in Boston.
So yeah, I grew up south coast of Boston, so like I'm a little out of the city, like 45 minutes out of the city in a little rural town called Freetown, Massachusetts.
Freetown.
Yeah, so we're out there. I was out there in the sticks I know it's the Northeast, but I was out there kind of in the middle of nowhere, and yeah, man, I grew up playing every sport in the world. I was a freaking ADHD kid, you know what I mean? Just couldn't keep me inside, and I was outside my whole life doing whatever kind of crazy shit, hitting dirt bike jumps and all that kind of stuff. Hockey and then martial arts. I started martial arts at a really young age, so that's kind of where that. But my main sport growing up was I was a hockey player. That's what I really learned that grit, and I think I attribute a lot of my mentality of where I attacked the rest of my life is because of my hockey career more than anything.
Yeah, man. Did a lot of your fellow classmates and everything play hockey?
Not really, actually. That with the town I grew up in, most of my friends they were just like regularly play baseball and all those kind of regular sports. I got lucky. I don't know why, but I started playing. My parents just like for some reason they like had me try it out, and I liked it at a really young age. I was just like, I think I just had really natural talent of like skating, and they're like, somebody was told me like, hey, you should probably put him into hockey, and I was just lucky enough that my parents like supported me through that because that's for parents playing hockey, like you're waking up at like fucking 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the morning to bring your kid to go get on the ice before school, and they were doing that stuff for me my entire life. So and hockey is just like a different sport than any other sport. It's like it's so gritty, man. You're out there like you literally fight people, and then you go to the box and you go back out. Like other sports weren't really like that. So yeah, I was kind of like the only kid in my group of my best friends. I was the only one who was like really a hockey player. But that being said, I made a lot of friends in the hockey community up here in Boston.
Okay. Now, you're allowed to fight in hockey, so that kind of help you out being a martial arts guy.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's funny because I was talking about this the other day. Like I remember we used to do this thing called helmet boxing in the locker room. So like you just put on your hockey gloves and you had a cage on and you put your helmet and we would just brawl. And I didn't know like back then martial arts wasn't the UFC and everything. MMA wasn't really a thing. It was just like you did karate or whatever. So I didn't really know how good I was at fighting until one day I did helmet boxing in the locker room. And I remember I was scared as hell because it was like my turn to go helmet box somebody. Then I put the gloves on with this kid and he threw a punch at me and it was like slow motion. I was just like, and I was like, pop, pop, pop. And I just like rocked this kid. And I was like, and everybody's like, "Oh my god!" I was like, "Oh shit, maybe I'm good at fighting." And that's when I kind of realized at a young age. And I started like wrestling with people. I was just oh man, I had a whole nother level up on all my like friends and stuff growing up doing martial arts. And any little street fights I got into, I realized, oh shit, this martial arts stuff actually kind of works.
Yeah. What kind of influences you have that drew you to martial arts?
Dude, mostly fucking karate, like
Mm-hmm.
Power Rangers and
Oh yeah.
like Ninja Turtles
Mm-hmm.
and that was it really. Like I was really, when I was a little kid, I was really into like Lord of the Rings, which is kind of nerdy, but like the sword fighting and stuff. Like I remember I could go to class and I used to do weapons and all that stuff. So me, it was like I was learning how to like pretending, you know what I mean? And I know it sounds silly, but that's all I would do in my yard all day is like karate in my backyard. And I just got really good at playing karate all the time. As like I said, I was like an ADHD. I never sat inside, hated school, hated anything to do with that. I did martial arts my anytime I could be. I was fighting shadows, and I kind of paid off later on in my life, not expecting it to as well. Like, cause like I said, like my main goal, like I went to high school for hockey. I went to a high school that was for hockey. My parents were like, that was my goal. I was gonna go play college hockey, and you know what I mean, and go that route and see where that took me. And basically, just use hockey as a vessel to get to college.
Oh
But
yeah.
my senior year playing hockey, I got hurt my last game of the season where it was like playoff game. I blew out my shoulder,
Oh.
and that we end up losing that game. And then so like that year I was like lost because I was like fucking, you know what I mean, I didn't know what to do. I missed my tryouts for playing junior college, juniors, and then you play, you know, high level college. And so that's when I kind of, whenever when I was a kid, I struggled with anything like a girlfriend broke up with me or something, I would just go to the martial arts gym to kind of get my anger out. So like my taekwondo school when I was in high school, that kind of turned into an MMA thing. That's when MMA became like a big sport. This is back in like the Georgia St. Pierre and Chuck Liddell years. You know what I mean? Like a long time
Hey
ago.
guys, if you like this video, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe to Swaggy Vets.
Years, you know what I mean? Like a long time ago, like that first generation. So, like, yeah, anytime I struggled anything outside of my outside of life, I used martial arts as like, you know, a thing to help me out. And like I said, I hurt my shoulder, I didn't know what to do, started training. Then my sensei actually was like, all right, we're gonna put you in for an MMA fight. And before this, like this is like pre-YouTube, you know what I mean?
Wow.
I didn't know, like I would never been to a cage fight. I'd never been to a real fight before at all. So my first time actually going to a cage fight was a fight that I fought in. And I had my first fight. I ended up winning in the first round. Biggest adrenaline rush I've ever had in my entire life. Like comparable to like, you know, like jumping out of planes and all the
Oh
other stuff I
yeah.
did in special operations and stuff. It was like just a complete adrenaline rush. And I got the win. And after that, I was addicted to the sport and kind of hockey went out the window, and I was addicted to fighting. I loved it, and so for a couple years after I graduated high school, that's all I did. Is I was just like, instead of going to college, I got a job working construction in Boston, in the city, like freezing my ass off, and then I'd work all day, and then I would train as much as I could and fight. I did that for like 2.5 years or 2 years after I graduated high school.
Yeah, man. What? So when did you realize that you were like just wired different, mentally and physically?
I don't know if it was like I think there's always been I had like a physical wired difference for sure. Like for going through like high school, like
Mm-hmm.
playing high school football and stuff. Like I was like the captain of the football team and like my
Okay.
freshman year, and just always kind of had like a physical ability for sure. And yeah, just like always wanted to win every sprint. I always wanted to win everything, kind of like in that manner. So I think I realized it in that. I was a little bit different from that. That being said, I had military and all that wasn't on my radar. Even fighting going through high school wasn't on my radar until my senior year. But I just knew that I was just competitive from other sports that I played, like hockey. Hockey was such a competitive sport up here in the Northeast. Like it was like, my team was like probably to our default. Like we weren't that good because all the players were so competitive with each other of who could score the most goals, who was going to be the best guy to try to make it to the next level. We were like more competitive like that than it was actually us winning together as a team. So that's the kind of like culture that I grew up in. It was a very gritty, like wanted to be the best all the time, I think. And that just kind of followed me on to other aspects of my life later on.
Oh,
Okay.
absolutely, man.
That's what's up, Carter. Hey, the old fighter, man. I don't want to say nothing wrong, bro. I want them hands, bro.
No way.
But with going through school, though, like, was there anybody that you knew that joined the service or whatever? What originally sparked the idea of joining the military?
So after I graduated, like I said, I was fighting. I wasn't really like I was kind of my parents kind of get on me like, hey man, what are you gonna do with your life? Like, you're not going to college. You're gonna want to work construction for the rest of your life. And I wasn't really loving that. You know what I mean? Freezing my ass off every single day, working on the roofs and doing all that stuff. So I that movie Act of Valor came out around that time. You remember that was like a cool military movie, like
Sure.
One
skydiving,
of my
shooting.
favorites.
Yeah, it was a cool movie. So I saw that and I was just like, yeah, I was like, oh, that looks pretty cool. So I actually ended up going and talking to a Navy recruiter because I wanted to go SEAL, and I looked like a cool job. But he wasn't really giving me like a contract. He hadn't had this thing in his idea that like, oh, you will never be able to pass that. Let's get you in another job and you can cross train to be a SEAL. You know what I mean? And I was like, nah, that doesn't really sound right to me. I don't know about that. So I talked to it just happened to be the Air Force recruiter was like right across the hall from them. So they sold me on the whole thing, being a PJ or being a combat controller. Originally, I wanted to be a PJ, a pararescueman, and so I had a pass test I had to pass. So like, somebody was slotted before me to go to be a PJ, and I took the test and I blew it out of the water, and that kid failed. Or sorry, to be a combat controller, and that blew it out of the water, and that kid failed. And like, hey, we have a combat control slot for you. And I was like, well, and the guy was like, it was funny because this guy who ran it, who was a old time combat controller, and he's like, all right, he's like, what job do you want to do? And I was like, I just want to do the best job. Like, what's the best job? He's like, all right, do you want to kill people or do you want to save people? And I was like, well, I guess I want to kill people. And he's like, all right, I'm putting you as a combat controller. I was like, all right. So I had no idea. Like, I didn't do any research on what a fucking combat controller does at all. All I knew that they did is cool shit and jumped out of planes and scuba dive, and they got in their pipeline. They got all those schools initially. So I was like, you know what? I'll give that a shot and go for it. And yeah, that before I knew it, I was on my way to basic training.
That's what's up. So
Yeah.
what main like conversation did that Air Force recruiter like? What did he just say to push you to be like, you know what,
It was
this
kind
is
of
it
cor-
for
it
me?
was it was kind of corny thinking back on it, but he goes like this. He's like, see, we the Navy SEALs call us. We're the 911 when the Navy SEALs get in trouble, because that's what, like,
Ooh.
PJs go in and they help out people and they get in trouble. That was like his like little like hashtag. I was like, oh, he just kind of compared, and there was like a lot of different shows back then that were on like this is like on demand, direct TV on demand time period, where like I would watch like this guy Will Willis, who was like he was like a PJ Ranger. They would like had all these different TV shows. I was watching stuff like that back in the day, and I always had like a military interest, but not necessarily saw myself going to. I just always thought it was cool. I like, I'm a country kid. I like shooting guns. I like being out in the woods. I like camping. So like, I just thought, and I like fighting, obviously. So I just, I could see me falling into those roles, that kind of lifestyle pretty easily. So that was the biggest thing, man. It was just like special operations, man. There's a lot of different. It just looked like a cool thing, man. You get to do. I couldn't find myself sitting behind a desk. That's not my lifestyle. I could never do that. So I was just more of an active kind of guy. So that's why I went for it.
But that combat control, like once you figured out what it was, man, it was one of the hardest pipelines in the military. Period, bro. Like,
It was.
what pulled you to do that? Want to do that more and more? Like nothing like discouraged you at all. So what made you want to be like, you know what, this is I want to do this, bro. I'm a badass. I'm finna do this.
It was in it was more the culture of once I got in. I think that kept me like really like it's just like the guys the friends that I made going through the pipeline who became like are still my best friends. It's like I always wanted to be a part of them because we all had a similar mindset. You know what I mean? Like it was one of these pipelines. You said one of the hardest pipelines in the in the military, right? We started off with, I don't know what it was, 100 something people, and then only 6 to 8 of us, I think, actually completed all the way through the pipeline. And I had my setbacks, a couple times. So I think there's like this thing I heard something recently, like people that have like extreme ADHD, it's like they only really are successful when it's life or death. And for me, it was like life or death for all the time. Like I was like if somebody gives me something and like it doesn't really matter if I pass it, I'm not going to be that good at it. But if it's like life or death, I will fucking grind tooth and nail to stay there, and that's what I did. I mean, I had my setbacks. I washed back at air traffic control school. Academically, that was very hard. I washed back at dive school. I had injuries, and I mean, I didn't just go right through the pipeline very easily. I definitely had my setbacks going through, but it was just like the community was very interesting to me. Is like these warrior mentality, these badass guys that I just wanted to be a part of that once I got in. I didn't realize that going in. I didn't know it was like that until I got there and saw what it was all about.
That's what's up.
Hey, so Connor, having that martial arts background, going into the military, having you played so many sports, all of that stuff teaches you discipline.
Yeah.
Did that kind of help you through when you went to that special operations with the discipline?
Yeah, it helped me out in a lot of different aspects. Physically, I
Mm-hmm.
had a different, this like just martial art when I was a kid, just the workouts and the type of training I was doing from since I was a kid was like I was climbing ropes when I was a kid and like an L sit, like crazy karate stuff that I never thought that would help me out when I was doing push-ups on a beam, dips on a beam, like just stuff like that for martial arts training that really applied to later on in my life. Even just stuff, that kind of stuff, that mentality definitely helped me. Since I would have to get ready for fights before I go. Like I would go into fight camp mode. So like fight camp mode for me is like you make sure you get your sleep right, you get your nutrition in line, you're not partying, you're not, you know what I mean, all those regular things that that you could just go to work, show up and leave. I knew how to like get my life into like getting ready for a fight, and I was able to apply that to the special operations like pipeline. Is like if anytime I had setbacks, like, oh, I gotta focus my shit up, so I would stop drinking, start like eating right, start getting my, I just went into that disciplined mindset, and I've had to hack into that a couple of times going through the pipeline, and it helped me succeed for sure. And just like, yeah. And then like again, just like I've been on teams my entire life. Like I said, I played every sport in the world. So I think that was a big part of the special operations is how do you interact and be on a team? How do you become a
Absolutely.
good team member? I
Yeah.
think that was a huge like thing that like I knew how to be a good team member. Like, hey, maybe I wasn't that greatest in academics, but I really picked up the freaking rocks and I picked up the team when I needed to, carried the weight when I needed to. I did what I could do to help the team when I needed to, and I think my team respected that, and they helped me out in return to make sure that I succeeded going through the pipeline.
What was the toughest part of the pipeline for you?
Air traffic control school was the toughest part of the type pipeline. It
Oh man, yeah.
academically for me was really hard. I'm not a school guy at all. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? So it was very academic, and it's a condensed kind of program, and not like for regular air traffic controllers that in the Air Force or whatever in the military in general, it's pretty hard. You know what I mean? We had to do that on top of getting smoked every single day. So you go in the wake up super early. You're getting smoked for an hour, 2 hours, 2.5 hours before you even go to class. You go to class, have a 6 hour day of class, do all your whatever chores, whatever they call them in the military these days. But you do all your chores and stuff, study, wake up, do it again. And for me, it was like it was definitely I washed back my first task, and it's like you're learning another language. We're talking to aircraft. You have to learn all the phraseology. We had to learn radar at the time,
Oh
so like
wow.
like which that was like for me. I was like just getting thrown into. I didn't even understand. I didn't know what an air traffic controller school was before I got sent there. You know what I mean? I thought an air traffic controller was the guys on the runway, like pointing the planes around, marshaling
Go this
aircraft.
way.
Yeah, I was like, I didn't know what we did, and so I had to figure that out. But I studied my ass off, buckled down. And I say this like physically, like, yeah, there's some challenging things. I think that was the hardest thing for me that made me realize that I was built different. Talk about like I I struggled so hard with but when I passed that, it gave me a lot of like mental ability to be like I can face any challenges and overcome those, and I'll be okay. You know what I mean? Just keep that
Oh
mindset.
yeah.
Because after I washed back the first time, remember that was not that I say I was going to quit. I was the closest I've ever been to like being like maybe this isn't for me. And I
Yeah.
never do that with anything in my life. But when I watched back at air traffic control school, that was the first time I had that thought process. But I didn't quit. And then I came back, ended up passing, and the rest is
How
history.
how did you? So, what did you do different the second time that you were able to be successful?
Um, I think I relied on my teammates a little bit. I
Okay.
think at first I was kind of shy to be able to do that because I was
Mm-hmm.
like, I'm going to, because I don't want to hassle anybody. I hate being especially with like special operations. Like you want to be like type A personality. You don't want any help from anybody. Then I realized, all right, I'm gonna go and like really focus and get with my friends and like help me study to make sure I understand and know all the knowledge that I need to know to get through this test. And then it was just like studying wise, I grinded, like I was staying up like over the time after everybody went to bed. I was doing those extra hour, 2 hours, finding another person to study with, go with another. You know what I mean? I did everything I possibly could do. And I applied this to everything in my life. Really, it's like I go like I saw like no stone left unturned. Like anything, if like I'm okay with failing shit as long as I know I did everything I possibly could do to pass. And if I don't pass it, then hey, that's it. But if I have any doubt in my mind that I didn't leave that, you know what I mean? I didn't do everything I possibly could. That eats at me later on, and that was my mentality going into it.
Oh, 100%, man. So, boom, you go back your second time, you pass your air traffic control portion. Then
Yep.
what?
So our pipeline consists of you have like kind of early pipeline portions, then you
Mm-hmm.
get your beret. So the early part of the pipeline, you get air traffic control school. You pass that, you get sent to airborne, Army airborne, and then we get sent to Air Force SEER. Which are those, Air Force SEER is not too hard of a school, but it's kind of fun training to be honest. Then we get sent to what's it called, combat control school. That's when for
Oh,
us
yeah.
that's when we learn our basic soldiering skills. It's at Camp McCall, or
Oh,
North
get out of here. You
Carolina.
was at Camp McCall?
Yes, sir.
Oh, yeah,
Yes,
man.
out there in Camp McCall. So you're doing a lot of land nav. You're doing your small
Mm-hmm.
unit tactics, bounding, all shooting, um, ropes of rappels, all those basic stuff. And you learn how to be a combat controller. You learn how to actually land aircraft on like a austere airstrip. Do basic air traffic control stuff. After you earn your beret, it's like a hard school though. They're smoking you
Oh,
every single
yeah.
day. They do hell
Mm-hmm.
days. They do all that stuff. People are falling out and all that. You make it through that. You get sent down to Florida where you go through our AST or STTS, Special Tactics Training Squadron, or AST Advanced Skills. That's when you're going to go to first you go to pre-scuba and then dive
Mm-hmm.
school. We have a very similar dive school to Army where it's very intensive. It's 5 weeks straight of pre-scuba where you're just getting drowned in a pool basically for 5 weeks. And then you go to actual dive and you got to pass one man's, which is a really hard test. They give you like a blacked out mask and they thrash you around, tie knots around your things and around you gotta like get to your air source and all that. So I actually failed that test, so I had to go back,
Mm-hmm.
go through dive school again. Pass through that. We got sent to Halo. That's fun. You know what I mean? You got to Army Halo out in Yuma.
Yeah,
um
so I want to talk about that. Let's
yeah,
back up to airborne school. How'd you like that?
it was okay. Airborne was, first of all, jumping out was terrifying. Like the first time, I'm not a as much as I like extreme stuff like snowboarding,
Yeah.
skateboarding, all that, but heights I'm not huge on. Like I'll deal with them if I have to. And jumping out of a plane and like static lines is like,
Mm-hmm. You
yeah,
know, you know what? When I went to airborne school, a lot of people was afraid of that 34-foot tower, man.
yeah.
I was
That's
surprised.
They get you.
I feel like
Yeah.
that's more scary to me. That's more scary. That tower is more scary than actually jumping out of a plane. Some think about
Yeah.
jumping out of a plane, you're too high, you
Mm-hmm.
just go. But jumping out of that tower is like just sketchy. I don't know. It's
I
just
think the tower is because you can see the ground.
yeah,
And you know if
Mm-hmm.
you fall, that's exactly where you're gonna go.
yeah, yeah. I
I mean,
agree.
I was so happy. I went in July, which it was so hot at Benning in July. And July 4th was on a Wednesday when we were doing ground week. So, you're falling all week. And then we actually got to get that day off on Wednesday. I was so happy. I slept most of the day.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Actually, it's funny. July 4th, I have a jump story on. I was combat control school. Our last
mhm.
mission that we go for, it was on to the July 4th, and
Oh,
we're
cool.
flying over. We're flying over. We're gonna do our jump, and then you could just. It was like dusk, so all the fireworks are going across everywhere, and that was like
I'll
our
get out
last
there.
mission. That was a very cool jump that I had. Seeing all the fireworks on the
Yeah.
countryside and then jumping in.
So you go to airborne school. You kind of did you overcome any heights? Uh,
You know, you don't really overcome them. You just deal with them.
you just
Yeah,
do it, man.
you,
Tolerate it. You gotta
yeah.
deal with it. That's
You
it.
don't overcome. You just go. All right, it's either I just say a prayer and I jump out of the plane.
Yep.
That's what I do. I go, please God,
If I
don't let me
land,
do
I
this.
land. If
Help
I
me get
don't,
through
I
this.
don't.
You make those promises you never keep. I
Yeah.
promise I'll never do this again.
So did you do? So you did airborne school. Did you do scuba after Halo or before?
Just scuba before Halo.
Man, so you went to the air, then you down in the water.
Yeah,
Right.
actually, very close together too because I remember when I was at Halo school I got an air squeeze from dive
Mm.
school where my ear
Oh,
got fucked up from like being
yeah.
in the water and stuff, and then I was flying up in the plane, and that the pressure was like fucking with my ear while I was at
Really?
Halo because they're really
Uh-huh.
close together. I was having that issue, so yeah, now my
Now,
ear's all fucked up.
now, what did you think about Halo versus Static Line?
I mean, complete different. It's different.
Yeah.
So static line was like you have a lot of those basic guys coming out of basic training. You know, a lot more
Mm-hmm.
strict. You're standing in
Mm-hmm.
formation. You're a lot more waiting around. Halo was it was all special forces guys, older
Yep.
guys who've been in the career for. It was more of a gentleman's course in that aspect. Um, Obviously Hale was it was a fun school. You do a week in the wind
Mm-hmm.
tunnel before you go jump out of a plane, and then they bring you up and then you jump. I mean, like I said, I'm not a big heights guy, but you know it was also really fun. Just crazy that the first time I've ever jumped out of a plane besides static line with Halo is you do it by yourself. I didn't do any jumps with attached to
Really?
anybody. Yeah, you learn you learn how to skydive in the wind tunnel or fly your
Mm-hmm.
body in the wind tunnel. Then they bring you up, and then you jump with a instructor. He's flying next to you, which they're amazing. They know what they're they're the Halo instructors are absolutely amazing skydivers. So I trust them a lot. But yeah, and you just jump out, and then the crazy thing is how fast the learning curve was. You go from jumping slick, you know what I mean, nothing on,
Mm-hmm.
to jumping with a ruck on, which that
Mm-hmm.
changes your whole aerodynamics of how your body
Mm-hmm.
flies. You can end up on your back, spiraling to the earth. You know what I mean? That's a whole nother sketch. And then you're doing night O2 ruck jumps
Oof.
in a month. You know what I mean? 4 weeks, 5 weeks of jumping. You jumping every day, but still, like, 3 to 4 jumps a day. That's a lot. Some guys have thousands of jumps. I got probably
Yeah.
a majority of my jumps at Halo school. You know what I mean? I jumped like 30 something times or something like that while I was there. And now you're jumping out. And back when we did it, we didn't jump with NVGs at all.
Oh
So,
wow.
so you're jumping just pitch black at night,
It's
full thing. And, you know what I mean? You just kind of jumping and just hoping you're not tumbling through the sky. You letting Jesus take the wheel, and you're just watching. All you have on your wrist is a
Did you?
altimeter with a glow stick on it.
Mm-hmm.
And you're just hoping that, and then once it's not even the scariest part. It's when you open your parachute and everybody else is jumping out too. So you're jumping out there with like 30 people, and we're all landing in the same spot, which on the ground, which is lit up by a little arrow.
Yeah.
So you guys all have to fly down to this thing, and you can't see anybody. Like they're supposed to. You have a red glow stick on your front and a green glow stick on the back. If you see
Okay.
the green glow stick, that means you're behind somebody. That's good. If you
Yep.
see the red glow stick, that means they're coming at you. That's bad. You can run into them, and if you get an entanglement, you're basically fucked, right? So
Yep.
you jump out, you're like, all right, I'm looking for these glow sticks, and it's just like red, green, red, green. They're just flying all around you, and you're just like, I have no idea what direction. You know what I mean? You're just hoping for the best, but yeah, that's a sketchy school, but fun. Other than that, the daytime jumps and all that stuff, super fun.
Yeah, man. So you made it through scuba, made it through Halo. You finish up your training. Then what?
So then we kind of really become operators, like special
Okay.
operations guys.
Mm-hmm.
We got really good training from guys that were like CAG guys, like you know what I mean, Delta guys
Mm-hmm.
who are retired and they own like a contracting company, and they taught us all of our like small unit CQBs, mission planning, um, really actually doing real combat control mission. Just that's basically it. Like learning all the different like running vehicles, driving motorcycles, driving ATVs, vehicle unit tactics, just fun stuff. The stuff that we really signed up. This is this is 2.5 years of after being in the military, after all these schools back and forth. I mean, it was a grind to get there. But this is when you really start learning how to put all those things together. And you do this down in Florida.
Oh,
So yeah,
nice.
that's probably one of the down in Destin, Florida, in that
Mm-hmm.
area, Fort Walton Beach. So that was that was probably one of the most fun parts of my
So
military career is being down there doing all that training. Trust me, they still smoke you. It's not a gentleman's course. It's not like you're just like they're still putting you through the ringer, but it's like you're doing cool stuff at the same time. You know what I mean? It's like, all right. So
yeah.
sometimes they're making us sleep out in the cold in the woods
Oh
once in a
yeah,
while, and
man.
you know what I mean, doing all that shit. But
Uh,
it is what it is.
of course, they're gonna military it up somehow,
For
man.
sure, yeah.
Absolutely. After after Florida, did they say, okay, you're gonna go here? You're stationed here. Did you get orders?
Yep. So you do like a dream wish. We got 6 different units that we can go
Mm-hmm.
to. You put your rank. I actually put out the two in Washington. I guess from the Northeast. I feel like it was like similar kind of lifestyle being up in
Mm-hmm.
the Northwest. I like snowboarding, so I figured that there's mountains and stuff out there. So that's what I put on my list, and I luckily I got Washington State. And so that's where I went. When I got to my unit, my team was actually deployed. My whole unit was deployed, so I got there in the off season. So I kind of missed that first, you know what I mean, that first deployment. So I waited for them to come back. But it was cool. I got a chance to really get it settled in, go to different trainings all around the country. You know what I mean? I was just basically on like a training team, so you have still a lot more advanced skills once you get on team to keep on learning. You get to go to other schools. I mean, that was the cool thing about Air Force Special Operations. Like, it's Air Force budget, and they send you to different Army schools all over the place. So I
Cool,
ended up getting
man.
my jump master, airborne jump master. I got to go to some really cool shooting schools. I got to go to actually a dirt biking school. Was really cool one time.
Wow.
Yeah, that was awesome.
That's what's
Um,
up.
def- Different jumping schools. So hey ho, high altitude, high opening. I went to a school for that. Um, Different training exercises across the country. So it was
Yeah.
really cool. It was definitely interesting. I enjoyed it. But the thing is, like, for me, it was like I was out the door from where I lived 300 days out of 365 days of a year. I was out the door in different training trips across the country, which is cool. But like, you know what I mean? If you want a balanced lifestyle, you know what I mean? That's not like if you have a family or anything like
Yeah,
that. Luckily,
yeah.
I didn't. I was young. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? I was just on the road and I enjoyed that. But I
So
definitely was out on the road a lot.
so going from when you first signed up as a combat controller to after you went to your actual unit, after everything you went through, what did it mean something different to you then?
Yeah, absolutely. I think like I said, I joined the job because I thought it was going to be just doing cool stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It really, but for me, it became more about becoming a part of the community is the biggest thing for me, I think. But I've had to, I mean, there's times that after, I came back that my feelings changed for sure. But while I was before I was just loved being a part of the guys and the things that I was doing at that point in time. I think that I had a bigger mission set. I always wanted to go out in there and just actually do the mission of being a combat controller. All this thing, it's like you become a hammer, you want to start looking for some nails to bang in. You know what I mean? And I think that's where my passion. I wanted to be good at it, and I wanted to find something, go up there and go actually do the job. You know what I mean? Especially I hear the stories of the guys coming back from deployments and the stuff they're going on. I wanted to go be a part of that.
Awesome, man.
That's what's up, bro. Like doing every interview, I always take a minute to just salute a real one, man.
Yeah,
All the
absolutely.
stuff you done did, I do the heart patting salute, man. Like that
Thank
comeback
you.
controller pipeline is gangster, bro.
Thank you.
That's,
Thank you.
that's tough, man.
It was
And I
hard.
always like to, I always like to drop a good one on them too. Like, can you walk us through your deployment to Afghanistan, man?
Yeah.
Give us a little.
Yeah, man. So I like I said, I had a so when you first get on team, for the way they run things different now, but when I first get team, so I did a AZRT, or global access, they call it. So I wasn't a certified, so you don't automatically become a JTAC, which is like, when you get attached to just calling airstrikes. So my job when I deployed was to be an air traffic controller, and survey airfields. I was on an Air Force team, and we were stationed at Bagram for my first deployment, and we would get pushed out to different areas to survey different airfields that needed to be surveyed to make sure they could be surveyed. And then we would also run FARPs, or forward airfield refueling points. And I would do like the air traffic control for like I would say like a ranger battalion was going to push out and do a mission. I would be like offset from that mission in a little airfield, austere airfield, and I would run like they drop like a big bladder of fuel, and the 160th would be coming in, filling up, and then going back to the missions, and I would run those night operations. And so I did that for quite a few times. Worked with the Rangers, did infill, exfil. So like if we were pushing out doing a mission, I would run like they would take over like a little fob. I would bring in all the Rangers, and they would offload off the plane and just run the air traffic control. They'd push out to the missions, and then I'd do the exfil, and I'd bring them all home. So I did that. And then one mission, this is when I actually got to kind of get out there with the teams, is I worked with an ODA, and I did the same thing, did infill, exfil, but then they allowed me to go on the missions with them to actually push
Oh
out
yeah.
and then get out there. And I wasn't the JTAC, so I just was end up being a extra gun in the fight. So they just, like I said, I just carried the weight, whatever they need, put a couple Carl G's on my back, and got out there and just got to kick in some doors and go bring the fight to some guys. And that was really cool for me, because a lot of guys didn't get that experience to be able to do that. And I got to, and I was really really thankful and happy that they allowed me to go out there and do that mission.
That's what's up, man. That's what's
Yeah.
up. Was there a particular mission that had a lasting impact on you while you was deployed over?
Yeah, I had one like actual like gunfight missions. You know what I mean? That night that I went out, and we got shot at, and I got to shoot back, and it was it was just a little bit different than what, like, it was crazy. You know what I mean? It was just like, this is so when Trump took office for the first time, it was the ROEs got were pulled back a lot comparatively to Obama. When Obama we had a ton of ROEs. So Trump took office, and then when he initially, before we pulled out of Afghanistan, he was like, "All right, ROEs are off." So we were pushing out all these different missions across the country, which was great to be there for that point in time, because it was actually, things were actually happening. So yeah, we went to these different cities, and we were just like pushing through, hitting cities. I mean, there was you know, there's some casualties. It was actually, real combat. So I thought that was really cool that I got to get there and go do that mission, and yeah, I got to shoot my gun, and I feel like that a lot of guys don't even get to do that in the military career. You know what I mean? And I got to do that, so that was definitely something that stuck with me.
Okay.
Yeah, you was like, this is what I trained for. This is what I'm
Yeah,
doing.
exactly,
Hey
I
exactly.
man.
don't want to do no this. I want to kill.
Yep.
Like, how did the responsibility of calling and fire support shape the way you see leadership and like
so
build up?
so I mean, that's definitely that's a whole like, first of all, for us, is like we get told what to do, and they call on their thing. We're basically facilitating. You know what I mean? Whatever the mission is the ground force commander is going to tell us what to do, and we just we're just the radio guy to call in and tell it. But it's just a lot of command and control. It's a lot of having essay and understanding of what's going on the battlefield. Taking, like, because there's a lot of responsibility in that. If you fucking I drop a bomb or calling a gunstrike, you're going something on one of our own guys. That's gonna be a big, I'm going to get screwed on that shit. So there's a lot of responsibility in that, and understanding, and kind of holding your own against what, some guy asks you to do something, you have to be like, I actually, no, we're not going to do that. And if they have the rank on top of you, you have to be like, nah, I don't think that's a good idea, and actually push back against that. I think that's a big important part of being a good combat controller.
That's commendable, man. Like I still give you another one, bro. Like you crazy, man.
Yeah, I know we were talking before, Connor. Those the JTACs we worked with, it was my 2007 deployment. Those guys were rock stars, man.
Yeah.
They, and they were talking to the F-15s, man. They were coming in dropping them JDAMs, bro. I was like, man, because we were doing this one mission and just had so many people out there. We had to call for fire, man, and I'm sitting. We were about, I'd say we about 8-9 clicks away from it, and you could just feel, the 500 pounder. I was like, man, I feel sorry for them guys out there.
Nope, yeah. They don't feel it, I don't think. They ain't feeling it. They're gone. They gone.
So going through all your training and actually deploying and implementing the things that you did train, when did you realize like, oh, this is real? This is life or
Uh,
death, man.
Probably like on sitting on a helicopter on my way because I wanted like the whole time I was like, oh, I hope I get to go. I hope I get to go. I hope I get to go.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? That kind of thing. Like trying to find any way I could try to get out there on the battlefield. And then I remember just like sitting in the back of a CH-47, like flying into combat. You know what I mean? Like,
Mm-hmm.
oh shit, this is real. You know what I mean? Landing in the middle of the thing, running out. The first thing that I did when I ran out, I remember like landed on a helicopter. In Afghanistan, they always have like those fucking little moats around there, like the water, like
Mm-hmm.
sewage fucking things. And I
Mm-hmm.
fucking ran right into one of the into my waist, shit water probably.
Oh
And,
man.
and it was a cold night, so it was like fucking. It was I was cold, so I went like my thighs probably, and I got
Mm-hmm.
out. But then I was just soaked and freezing my ass off for the rest of the night. And Afghanistan, everybody's like, "Oh, it must have been so hot." I'm like, "Dude, Afghanistan was freezing the
Oh
entire
man,
time.
people
It
don't
is so
realize it,
cold,
man.
bro."
Especially
So,
up in the mountains, bro. Oh
dude,
my god.
and then we're
It,
always sitting in like a helicopter door or something like that. You know what I mean? And
you're
it's
and
like,
you're in an altitude, so it's even colder up there.
so cold. So yeah, I was freezing my ass off all night. That was it. But yeah, no, it was good. I mean, yeah, but I wasn't. I don't think I ever really had like. That sounds stupid, but like fear of like dying or whatever for whatever
Mm-hmm.
reason. I was just kind of accepted that, and I was just like, yeah, I was just excited to go fucking do a mission.
Yeah, so I know you guys. What is it called? You got to go to. Is it JSO school?
uh,
Like to
Maybe that's
actually
our
call
TAC
for
P.
fire? Yeah, the
Yeah,
TAC P guys.
yeah, JFO. Yeah,
JFO.
yeah.
That's what it is. Yeah, yeah. Did you do that?
No, I didn't do that. So
Okay.
my first deployment, like I said, I was on an ACRT team. I wasn't even a
Mm-hmm.
JTAC, so
Okay.
I was just on the although we did get to do like I was sitting in with the JTACs and I was calling helping them out and all that, but I didn't have any responsibility of actually calling it myself because it was my first deployment. So I was just
Mm-hmm.
kind of like the guy helping out and just I would just do like stuff like medevacs, bring in anything I could do to control the stat or whatever I could do to help give him SA awareness on what's going on. I would
Mm-hmm.
do that, but the JTAC was the primary controller for all that stuff, and then I was just controlling anything else, helicopters, in and out, doing landings, whatever. You know what I mean? So that's mostly what I did on that
Okay.
deployment.
Now, your first deployment was when?
2000, 2017 to 2018.
Okay. So then you come back and then you go back over. How long did you have in
No,
between?
I just had one deployment, so I just
Okay.
did one deployment. I came home 2017. Had one more year left on my contract. I kind of made the decision that like I said, I was a martial artist and I've always loved martial arts.
Mm-hmm.
And I would train all the way through my military career, but I couldn't really full on train because my schedule was crazy. Like I said, I was out the door
Amen.
300 days a year. And I feel like I really wanted to get back into martial arts. Also, mentally, when I first came home, I was a little bit, I was a little off, you know what I mean? Like not that it's crazy. I wasn't like saying that the worst case of PTSD or anything like that, but I was definitely something that was like I was really short wit with like my people, and I'm never like that with like my military leadership. I was just angry, just not the same person that I really
Oh, I
was
get it.
before,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and that's why I got back into martial arts because I was like, I came home and I was like I said, anytime I struggled with anything in my entire life, I would use martial arts as a vessel to kind of help me feel better. And that's what I did. And then I started taking fights again while I was in and took like three amateur fights in Washington State. And I was like, I was better. I got better at martial arts then than I ever had before that. And there's a couple of reasons. I think I had a really good coach at the time in Washington that I started working with. My mentality that I grew from my pipeline of being a combat controller, just my military experience. I was like, fighting was like like getting into a cage and fighting somebody after going to like real life combat was like a joke to me. I was like, oh, what's the worst that happens? I get knocked out. I was like, oh, mentally, it just gave me like a superior, like I just didn't care, and that was fun. So yeah, I came back and a couple of my friends that I grew up with training started making it to the UFC. So I was like, if they make it to the UFC, I think I can make it to the UFC. So I decided to make the decision of I was gonna get out and just pursue trying to making it to the UFC.
Yeah, man. So I wanted to kind of you had a really good buddy that you George.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
man. What you guys? You said you kind of went. Did you go through the pipeline with George?
Yeah, I did. So George was we went through the pipeline together, but he's always like one team ahead of me. But we spent
Okay.
a lot of time like
Yeah, yeah.
hanging out outside. So one thing that brought me and George really close is he was a wrestler.
Oh, okay.
So he was a very good wrestler, probably the best wrestler that I've ever really rolled with. And he was just an absolute like savage, like made me like I was nothing compared to him. And like, dude, he would do crazy things, like just to challenge the cadre for like fucking things. He would like just do crazy stuff. Like, I can't even explain to like all the different. He was super strong. And so yeah, me and George were really good buddies. Went through the pipeline. The last time I saw George was in Afghanistan. So he was deployed at the squadron that we were ripping out. And so it was on Bagram, so there were some mats right next to our thing. So me and him were
Oh, yeah,
rolling
yeah.
and training, and we were, he was getting into MMA at the time, and I was doing
Hmm.
jiu-jitsu. So we would show each other. We had different styles. I was more MMA, he was more that. So we'd show each other stuff all the time. And so that was the last time we really hung out. And then so he ripped out, came home. I think the deployment kind of took a toll on him, and he was just partying a lot when he came home and just drinking a
Oh,
lot.
man.
And then unfortunately on New Year's, um, he was Nashville, Tennessee. Actually,
Oh, that's yeah.
he was partying, and he was like, and he was going to get on like a bus, one of those buses that bring you back to the hotel. And he got on the
Mm-hmm.
wrong bus, and I could see where George is always like, he's a life of the party, really funny kind of guy. Like when he gets drunk, like sarcastic, and he's probably just like talking, being an asshole. And they shut the door on him. He fell out, and the bus like ran him over. So
Oh my God.
yeah, it was very unfortunate. So that he lost his life, but
Wow.
yeah, he was one of my close friends going through the military, and it was super unfortunate for that to happen.
Yeah,
Crazy.
man. Salute to George, man.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
also you lost a good buddy. What was his name? Dylan.
Yeah, he was another kid that was on my pipeline. Dylan, he was actually after we I ripped out. He was a couple teams behind me, I think, or maybe one
Mm-hmm.
team behind me. He ended up IED. That's like I said, like it was like that summertime,
Yeah,
when the
man.
battle starts picking
Oh
up,
yeah.
and we were pushing on a lot of missions. He got even when I was there. We were just right when we were getting ripped out. One of my other friends, Chuck, he got shot. He got shot in the arm.
Oh
Got shot in
man.
the back of the helmet. I would say this: when I was in Afghanistan, we did ramp ceremonies. So when you have to go to a ramp and load somebody to send them
Oh
home.
yeah.
Back, we did one every month at least. You know what I mean? Multiple casualties. Sometimes there was a lot of stuff that was going on around that. One guys like we came home. We had a really bad thing happen at my squadron. Like when I've been an operator, but somebody like had a murder his family, and like there was like a lot of death that was happening, and like losing people and training accidents. We had Cole Condiff was another combat controller who had a jumping operation, like a chute opened in the back of a plane. He got ripped out, landed in the Gulf of Mexico. And then like just a lot of different things was kind of happening. I think that really had a big effect on me that caused me to kind of like to mentally just get back into training and just to get my life straight and figure that out. It kind of pushed me away a little bit from the combat control, like the re-enlisting
Yeah.
and keeping. Not that I didn't love it, and I still love all the guys, but I was just kind of it was just got dark there for a
I
little bit
got
for
you.
me. Yeah.
Absolutely, man. So you
That's
get back from your deployment. How long was it till you got out?
So it's probably a year. about a year
Okay.
back in actually they were going to put me in to become a JTAC, so I got switched to a JTAC team, and I
Okay.
was going to go do all that training. But I was already, by that I made my decision to get out, so I ended up not getting any of that training. And then and it was cool though. They allowed me to pursue college while I was near the
Oh,
end for the
that's
last three
nice.
months. So I
Yeah,
started getting
man.
some classes in, and transitioned, and I was training full time. And so I basically just did that for the last 3 or 4 months of my military contract, and then got out and decided to move back to Boston and pursue the UFC.
Okay. Now, I was real curious when you were talking about how did your friends and family feel about you doing special operations? What was their reaction?
They're very supportive, I think.
Okay.
You know what I mean? They thought that was really cool. I think they knew the kind of person I was like, and they could probably, see me fitting into that. I think they were very supportive. I think my friends, they thought everybody thought it was cool. I was doing
That's
cool
awesome,
stuff.
man.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So yeah, I think so. I think my mom was that, when she was in Afghanistan, she was probably scared as hell, but like, I think it's funny when I came back to fighting. She's like, "I'd rather have you be fighting than do that." You know what I mean? Like, doing
At
that
least
shit.
you're
So,
home.
yeah, exactly. So,
Mm,
yeah, but my family's always been super supportive in everything I've done. They, a lot of respect for the military. My father, I think my family has had military members in it all the way back to the Civil War. We've never
oh,
had a
wow,
generation
man.
that's not been in the middle. Actually, before that, the Revolutionary War. So my dad did like a whole thing, and we
Wow.
literally have everybody. My
Mm,
grandfather was in the military. He served in World War II. My
wow.
uncle was in Vietnam and in the Gulf, and then I carried it going into fighting in Afghanistan. So we have just like a long line of military members, and so it's something that's been in our family forever.
Now, did you work with any of the PJs?
Yeah, quite a bit.
Yeah.
Well, I deployed to PJs, and then also going through training, we work with PJs too.
My uncle, Ben Pennington,
Okay.
he was a PJ, and unfortunate, man. So HBO did a special on him. He saved some pilot in Desert Storm. He went down, he rescued him, gave him this big friggin' ceremony and all that. I can't remember what medal he got, and then I think what back then I don't know what it was called. After Vietnam, I think it was called shell shock. It's
Yeah.
our PTSD is their version of shell shock, and he went and friggin' bought him a motorcycle, and unfortunately lost his life on the motorcycle.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
I'm very sad. That's another thing that happened crazy to me is I had this kid that was I deployed with Army Ranger kid. He was a comm specialist, so we
Mm-hmm.
hung out because as I'm a combat controller, they have like their little vehicles that are like a radio vehicle, and I would just hang
Oh,
out there.
okay.
So I'm working doing comms a lot too. So
Mm-hmm.
we hung out a lot on these missions. Came home from Afghanistan, and he ends up dying in a motorcycle accident. The kid that is,
Dang.
it was crazy. And he was at Fort Lewis at
Mm-hmm.
275.
Mm-hmm.
So it was just there's just weird little coincidences like that. It's super
Very,
sad, unfortunate.
very, very unfortunate, man.
Man, that's salute them up to, man.
Yep.
Yeah,
Take care, bro. Nah, you still you got out. You said you got out 17. You got
yeah.
out the army. Where you okay?
No,
And
I
then you
got out
start.
19. I got out.
Oh, so
So
the same year you got out, you started doing the MMA career.
yeah. So I had I had 3 fights amateur before I got out. I came home. I had my first fight when I moved back home to Boston. I had a knockout, a 7-second knockout.
Oh,
Mm.
Yeah, so that was cool for my first professional
Mhm.
fight. I had a couple, 3 or 4, fast knockouts for that, and then the pandemic hit. So that put a big damper on things. It was kind of good though because it also, even though it slowed down fighting and I couldn't fight in arenas or fight in a ring or anything like that, it allowed me time to kind of catch up my martial arts skill that I needed comparatively, because if I was just trained all the way from when I got out of high school and I just did MMA, I would be probably really good right now. But you know what I mean. This gave me time to kind of catch up my skills, and that's exactly what I did. The pandemic was awesome. All I did the entire time of the pandemic was was I lived on a farm actually, and I had mats at the farm, and all the gyms were closed. So everybody was just coming from all these different gyms from all over Massachusetts and training on the farm with us. And we kind of had like the biggest training gym in Massachusetts. So that worked out for me. It was actually really fun. Didn't have
That's
to
what's
work,
up.
you know what I mean? Just did jiu-jitsu and trained all day.
Heck yeah, man. That's awesome.
Where everybody just come and just ball, just brawl, man. It's free
Yeah.
Yeah.
fall ball, man.
Hey,
Was it?
hey, Super, hold on. I'm sorry, brother. I just had a real quick question. When you were fighting in the military, how did your chain of command react to that?
They're pretty supportive,
Yeah.
honestly. Yeah, they were pretty cool. My bosses were pretty cool with me. They came to the fight. Depends. So
Okay.
my original bosses I had were awesome, and then I got transitioned from my team that I deployed with to a new team,
Okay.
and they didn't like it as much. I was already
Okay.
doing it, so when I transferred to the new team, they were kind of like they kind of gave me the treatment like, "Oh, what are you doing?" You know what I mean? Like, are you like you're in the military? Like, what do you think this is? Like, and I can understand, but like, and then I told them I was getting out. But when I told them I was getting out, they kind of, that's the only thing. But near the very end of my military career, when I knew I was getting out, I felt like I kind of got no appreciation to
Yeah.
you know what I mean, from the community, because I just kind of got like, oh, this guy doesn't give a fuck. They just kind of left me in the dust.
Yeah.
I didn't like it was like one day my cat card stopped working. I wasn't allowed to go back on base to grab my shit out of my locker, and that
Mm.
was it. I didn't get a goodbye. I didn't get a, you know what I mean? I didn't get anything.
That's
Besides from
Wow.
like
wild.
my close, no going away party or anything like that. It was just kind of like that was it. You know what I mean? Which I wasn't like, it is what it is. I understand kind of where they're coming from, but initially it was like, fuck, man. I was like, I just put my heart and soul into this shit for the last 6 years, and I didn't get even a goodbye. I just barely got a transition out of the
Hmm.
military, and that kind of, even when I first started fighting, I didn't want to like support, like my fight name was the controller, you know what I mean, the
Hmm.
comment, like that's my fight. I didn't, like at first I was like I didn't want anything to do with that because I was kind of hurt from like ever put my life in, but then eventually, you know what I mean, it's funny, a lot of those guys that didn't give me any fucking love when I started making it to the UFC, they're like, oh man, yeah, you're the fucking shit. It's like, all right, yeah, where the fuck were you guys? And I didn't wasn't back allowed back on the fucking base. But overall though, I had pretty good turnout from my community from as combat controllers.
Okay. Well, what was the moment you realized like you can do this at a very elite level? Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
so
So
where did the controller, like where did that nickname originate from? Like the controller.
so I had one boxing fight when I was actually on team in the military. I got invited to do a boxing fight in London. It was United States Special Operations guys boxing against British Special SAS guys. And they like it was like a charity event. Really cool though. So they flew us out there to do the event, and they put a they had the card up, the poster card, and they put my name. They came up with the name, the controller, because I was a combat controller. I was like, that's pretty fucking cool. I like that name. So yeah. So they came up with that. I was like, that's a badass name. So
Yeah.
I used to be called Bad News. That was my fight name before, when I was young growing up. They called me Connor Bad News Matthews. And then so that's how the controller. I was like, that sounds really cool. And it kind of helped with like the promotion and everything to kind of differentiate me from every other regular fighter. You know what I mean? You kind of need a for the UFC, they kind of want to see a little story behind you for people to get behind you, and I feel like that kind of used that. So, even though they kicked me out, I was like, not kicked me out, but even though I got out, I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna use
There
my
you go.
controller thing to kind of to my advantage to get my name out there.
So fast forward, you're trying to get into the UFC.
Yeah,
So, but you weren't in the UFC during the pandemic.
no, not yet. 2020. I didn't get it to the UFC until 2022.
Okay. So how did the pandemic? How did you? So of course everything was shut down and it
Yeah,
was crazy. So all you did was train.
yeah.
Do you think that kind of helped because you trained so much to when it's time to get that call to do the UFC?
Yeah, I think so. I think sometimes when you're just training for fights,
Mm-hmm.
you're very fight oriented, so you're not
Yeah.
building skills. You're just getting yourself prepared for the fight and not building a lot of new skills. And then if you're just training as a martial artist, you're experiencing, you're experimenting, you're just working on other skills to kind of grow your overall martial arts abilities. And I feel like that's what the pandemic did for me. It just allowed me to kind of just fucking train and just work on everything instead
Yeah.
of getting ready for fights. So yeah, so basically I had, like I said, I had like 3 fights I think before the pandemic, maybe
Mm-hmm.
4. I was the UFC was like kind of like, oh, I was 4-0. I had a lot of knockouts and a lot of good finishes. They're like kind of interested, but like, hey, they're like, you need more fights before we're gonna give you a shot to come on. But I was having trouble scheduling fights because
Yeah. It's
pandemic
the
and all this
pandemic.
bullshit. So eventually though, I get my fight. I get 5-0. I get invited to go on Dana White's Contender Series. By the way, that was like a lot of up and down emotional like things and me like a lot of times I would schedule fights, guys wouldn't show up
Oh,
the
really?
day before the fight. That happened to me like 3 or 4 times, which was like I put in a full fight camp for 2 months, show up and the guy wouldn't show up, or just stupid shit like that that kept on happening to me. And it was that was like my obviously my family's getting on me too. Like, what are you fucking doing? Like, you got out of the
Yeah.
military. You know what I mean? Like, I was not making a lot of money. I was just making money at privates, and I was just grinding, trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
And but eventually, I got my thing to go on Dana White's Contender Series,
Mm-hmm.
which is it's a fight the show they put on Tuesday nights. You fight for a contract. You don't necessarily get the contract, but if you put on a good performance, they usually will give you a contract. I fought this kid named Francis Marshall from New Jersey. He was like a
Mm-hmm.
23-year-old stud, and I got ready. I've had that fight. I had an absolute banger of a fight. You know what I mean? For me though, it was a lot. Like I was only 5-0. Like I didn't have a lot of experience really of fighting at that level. Because I said everybody kept on falling out. I couldn't really get fights in the local scene.
Mm-hmm.
And me and him had a 3-round war.
Yep.
Dana White actually kind of like praised us. He's like that would have been like any a great prelim on any UFC card, blah blah blah. But I ended up unfortunately losing the fight, and Francis Marshall got the contract. I didn't get a contract, and that was kind of it, man. So that was like one of those times where it was like I was building up to this point, and that was like a letdown. That I was like fuck, you know what I mean? I kind of compared it to like my air traffic control or whatever, like a washback. Like I was just like fuck, I put all this hard work into it, and I didn't get the result, but like what are you gonna do? So I went back to training, and I got really, really lucky. That the following, I think that fought in like July, and then the following March, so it was like a full another 6 months. Dana White was actually, I'll show you the posters right here. Is Dana White's looking for a fight.
Oh, nice.
Um, it was that's a show on YouTube. If you guys want to go watch it, it's on
Yep.
YouTube.
Okay.
Uh, it's a Dana White goes around to a different city, and he'll go tour around the city, and then he'll go with his buddies, and then they'll go to like a fight, and then they'll give guys contracts or whatever. So luckily he came back to Boston. Dana's from Boston, so
Okay.
that was like a really, really cool event. We had a fight at this casino called Encore Casino. The show is Combat Zone. Calvin Cater owns it. He was one of my teammates, so he's a UFC fighter. So Calvin gave me the opportunity. I was being at the main event, and I went out there and I put on a performance, and Dana White gave me the opportunity instead of giving me I wanted a contract, but he gave me the opportunity to come back on the Contender Series for a second time and fight for a UFC contract.
Yeah. So
Okay.
the guy you were fighting at the casino, did you know who you were fighting?
His name is Andrew Cruz. He was an
Yep.
Army JFO
Oh,
or
wow.
Border Observers,
Yep.
which is kind of very ironic. So he's a nice, there's no beef right there or anything like that. But I had to go in there and give us. Yeah, I knew he was an Army guy. Cool guy, really, really nice guy. But yeah, that was my night to be in there.
Absolutely, man. Your time to shine.
Exactly.
Yep. So that loss, that first loss, what kind of fire did that set on you?
A lot. You know what I mean? It was just like because I knew I knew I could fight at that level. You know what I mean? There's like little tweaks and stuff I needed to make, and so I just knew I could be there. So it just really really ignited me. I needed to go back there. I made a lot of light changes in my life. I changed the camps I was training at. I changed the teams I was training with. You know what I mean? Because I was kind of training at the same gym that I always trained at my entire life, and it wasn't the same gym it was when I was growing up, but I always had loyalty to guys that I grew up with. And I was like, I need to go find the next level of guys. And that's why I started training with like Calvin Cater and Rob Font. Tyson Chartier was my head coach who got coach of the year in 2020. So he was a good, good. But I was traveling. So I live on the south coast of Massachusetts, 45 minutes south of the city. I was traveling to 45 minutes north of the city.
Yeah, that's
So I was
crazy.
driving an hour and a half
Hmm.
without traffic. Sometimes I hit traffic 2 hours there and 2 hours back, and I was doing that 4 days a week. So I put on my car. I mean, I put hundreds of miles, man. Like it was 100 miles there and 100 miles back.
Oh man.
So yeah, man, I was driving all day and all night, and like finding the money to be able to even do that was difficult as well. So um
So
yeah.
you got a chance to fight again, and what happened?
So I fought against this guy Jaius Ferreras.
Yeah.
He was 10-0, Brazilian guy fighting out of the Fighting Nerds, which is like right now the biggest gym in the world. One of the
Wow.
Carlos Prates, he's another UFC fighter, is big right now. He's fighting out of there. They have a whole bunch of other big fighters. I think he was supposed to be one of those guys. This kid that I fought was supposed to be like that. Because he's like the chosen one. Remember, he's like
Hmm.
10-0. So he was 6'2", 6'3", or something like that. Guy was
Yeah.
massive. But you know what I mean, I just freaking I went in there and I just stuck to
Yep.
my game plan, and
Hmm.
I got it. That was the best performance, the best fight I've ever had in my entire life. I was so prepared, so ready to go. Just I already been in the apex at that point in time.
Hmm.
So going back there, I already kind of visualized, knew what I needed to do. It wasn't my first time being in the big stage and the bright lights. It was like, I've been there, done that, and I was just ready to, my mentality was like, it's either I die or fucking, you know what I mean, or I make it through this. And that was my mentality, like truly, authentically. And I just fucking, I got it done. I knew I was gonna win that fight. It was like a
Hmm.
spiritual thing for me, some reason. I don't know what it was, but like, I don't think I was ever at that. Unfortunately, I never rise to that occasion to be like that. How prepared and ready I was for that fight that night. I've never found that self in myself again after that, which sucks. And I tried, but like I don't, for whatever reason, I just never was that ready for a fight that I was on that night. But I got the contract off that.
Okay. Why do you think that though?
I think it's a lot of things outside of fighting,
Okay.
mostly. You know what I mean? A lot of life and
Yeah.
just like injuries and coming back from injuries, just things like that. You know what I mean? Like, so after that fight, when I got my contract, I um I had my first UFC fight against Dennis Bazooka because they got a contract. It came back. I fought Dennis. Honestly, for Dennis Bazooka, I fought pretty good, but it was my first time fighting in the UFC against another high level UFC fighter. It was a 3 round. I got knocked out in the third round, but
Hmm.
up until that point, it was a pretty solid fight for me. You know what I mean? But there's still a learning curve. Like I said, I only fought like 7 fights before this. You know what I mean? It's not like I had a ton of experience.
Hmm.
And I'm fighting in the highest level.
Yep.
So you know what I mean? And now this is my first time fighting in a big arena, having Bruce Buffer call my name. You know what I mean? New Jersey, big lights, like this is another level up, right? And
How'd that feel, man? Have a Bruce Buffer call your name.
awesome. Awesome.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, I'm super proud of that. I'm
That's
super
awesome.
proud of like, from everywhere where I came from and visualizing from telling my parents I'm getting out of the military to try to become a UFC fighter to actually
Hmm.
stepping in the cage and making that a reality. Because when you first make these crazy ideas, it's like nobody believes you. Nobody thinks everyone thinks you're stupid, you're crazy, and then you're making that a reality, and then everybody starts believing in you.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It's kind of weird, but so it's like, I it was that was that I honestly I was like, yeah, it was everything to me. You know what I mean? I accomplished my goal. I wish I'm very frustrated with my UFC career the way it went. I know what I mean. It eats at me. You know what I mean. As much as it wants it to be a positive thing, it's just probably my mindset and the way I am. It's not. It's like I have to like. It's just like I think I had more to give and more to fight, and I just didn't really. So, anyways, I had that fight. It was an okay fight. You know what I mean. I'm not super upset with my performance on that fight, but I end up getting knocked out. Coming back from that, I had I got hurt my knee, so I had to get a knee surgery. That knee surgery really fucked me up. You know what I mean? It was just really hard for me to get a real fight camp that kind of move the way I used to move
Yeah.
after that. Um, not that I'm great now, which sucks, but like while I was fighting, it was so I came back. I had a fight against Jose Delgado, who was a stud. He was really good, to be honest. You know, I started off the game plan, did what I want, got in, got a takedown. You know, game fight was kind of going my way. Got to his back. I was working, you know, doing what I wanted to do, and then he got up and knocked out. And
Oh
so,
man.
and when he knocked me out, he got me on an elbow. I saw he not drop me. I fell down, and then I tried getting to my back to try to stand back up, and he dropped an elbow in the back of my neck, which I'm not like
Oof.
mad at him for, because I understand it's a fight. It is what it is, but like that elbow fucked me up for a
Okay.
while. My head kind of like, you know, I was like slurring words. And I was like,
Wow.
that's that nervous. That's like you're, you know, it's right in the back of your head. Like that's bad. And I was like, my balance is fucked up. I would like, you know what I mean? Like I like if I closed my eyes, I would like fall off
Oh
balance. Like
wow.
I was pretty jacked up from that. Like the
Yeah.
UFC, the PI was awesome. They helped me a lot try to
Mm-hmm.
figure out that, but like even they were like, you're kind of fucked up. You try to, and
Wow.
then the UFC itself, they gave me like a month, and then they offered me a fight. They go, hey dude, it's either you take this fight in 2 weeks, or you're probably just gonna get cut from the UFC. So I was just like, well, what the fuck? So I'm just gonna take this fight. So I took that fight, 2 weeks notice, zero sparring, zero training. I just fucking went in
Oh
there and I
man.
just fucking had, you know, and I wasn't ready to fight
Yeah.
a world class fighter and in 2 weeks with zero knowledge against a kid who's a monster. The kid was
Mm-hmm.
huge. So like I said, like my two UFC fight, even if you like Francis Marshall, you look at me against um Dennis Bazuka, and you look at me against Chaz Ferreras, that was me performing and being, you know, the fighters that I feel like it really could be. And then I had just unfortunate, just I mean, I went in there, I did my thing, but like it just wasn't what I don't, not my full potential of who I could be as a fighter.
Did you
But
take some scrutiny after that, kind of?
yeah, man, but everybody's taking scrutiny. People
Yeah.
don't understand, but I don't give a fuck, man. Like if like, the people that talk shit online have no idea my abilities and
No,
what I
they
can do,
don't.
what I can
Yeah.
do in the gym and what I do every day in day out. You know what I mean? Like they have no way of understanding that. So,
Mm-hmm.
Bunch of trolls, man. That's what they is. Bunch of
yeah,
trolls
Mm-hmm.
want to get a reaction. They negative. Who
yeah.
cares?
Yeah, I don't care. You know what I mean? It is what it is. People will talk shit no matter who you are and what you do. You can. It's funny because I hear they say you know you. I just want to take one fight. You become one. You know, it's just to say you're an MMA fighter. And people will be, oh, but you're not that good at MMA. And then you're like, all right, I'm just gonna get a local title. You know, like, oh, but you only won a local title. All right, fine, I'm gonna make it to the UFC. Oh, but you're just a low level UFC. Oh, I'm gonna make. Then you, no matter what you do, there's
Yeah.
gonna be people talking shit about what you're
Mm-hmm.
about, and they didn't do anything.
They do
You know what I
anything,
mean?
man.
So, yeah, it eats at me because I'm like, oh man, I should fucking fight that, but I don't get it. You know what I mean? I just, you know, I know my skill and my ability, and I truly believe that I'm pretty good at martial arts from what I do, what I can tell,
Yep.
and yeah, whatever, what people think, what they want to think.
So, what what fight do you think taught you the most about yourself?
I think that my performance and who I was in Jaius Ferreira's fight was really taught me that like, they might, you know, what I could be. You know what I mean? That really brought out
Oh
my
yeah,
best.
man.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, that really brought out my best version of myself in
Mm-hmm.
all aspect, like preparedness, mentality, game plan, staying calm in stressful situation. Like just that was my absolute best fighter.
You're
I
just
think yeah, it was just
firing on
I
all
was
cylinders, man.
like literally flow state.
Mm-hmm.
Like I couldn't even tell you the things that I was doing, but I was there and I was, you know what I mean? Like I was just, that was my best performance. Yeah, for sure. That was the best fighter I ever was right there.
And it goes to show it's like when you're deployed. If house isn't taken care of, like if you got kids and you're fighting with your wife or you got something bad going on at home, you're not going to focus as good on
Nope.
deployment. Just like fighting too, man. When your personal stuff gets in the way.
I say that all the time that people don't understand, and that's why it's very impressive for the people like that who can go out there and always be great.
Mm-hmm.
That there's something to be said about people. I really respect that, and I respect any fighter that does well in the UFC. Like I used to like kind of like, oh yeah, I could do that, but like I'm like, wow, that's very impressive to me because I know how hard it is. But I totally agree. You never know who you're gonna be on that given day. and nobody knows that. You know what I mean? Like all these guys, because right now the sport's really big into betting, so everybody has all these big bets. I'm like, you have no idea what can change a bad weight cut. You know what I mean? The guy just had or just woke up not feeling right that day, could completely have a totally different performance than he would in any other sport. Now, if you look at other sports like baseball and basketball, dude, they can win, they can lose all the time, and it's okay. You know what I mean? They can still, but they're still an NFL football player, and they're
Yeah,
still this. You know what I mean? But for fighting, it's you lose, that's it. It's like, nope, that guy's trash now. You know, it's like, but you don't know, like that. You never know what it takes a full life encompassing thing to get being ready and to be the best you could be in that night.
absolutely, man.
Hey, bro, you get another one from me, bro. Hey, I rock with you, Connor, man.
Appreciate
I
that.
respect you a lot, bro. Like, I know most of us still do like certain stuff daily that you know what I mean, they keep us sharp. Like what do you do? What's your daily habits that keep you sharp mentally, man? Like what do you still do from either the service or from childhood or even as an MMA fighter?
Um, I would say for just training. I'm doing something physical every single day. You know what I mean? Like I don't think I've missed a day. Even right now, I'm going through a fire academy. You know what I mean? I wake up, I got to go through this, gotta go do PT for that, and then go to school all day, and then you know what I mean. I come home and I run my gym at night. You know what I mean, and go back there and do it again. So like, I just feel like any opportunity that I have to go train, I still do it. You know what I mean? Right now, like a Friday night, I'll go to a gym and do like a private with somebody, and to keep learning and building my skills and still learn from other people. Or and it's Saturday, back in the gym doing jujitsu with other high level fighters. I'm a true martial artist. Like, you know what I mean? I'm always going to try to continue to grow my skills for no reason at all. I have no reason to do that right now, besides just trying to be a better martial artist myself so I can make better martial artists underneath me. You know what I mean? I feel like that's where I really shine. You know what I mean? I feel like I'm always continuously growing, and I just love it. I feel like that's my biggest thing, man. I truly love being a martial artist, and I love this. That's the most important thing to me in my life right now. So,
You gotta have that mental for it, man. You
yeah.
know, they can't decipher that too when they going back and forth. Like everybody has that Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Like, how do you flip between the calm Connor and fight night Connor, man?
So I say that like in the gym, you should always be super humble and willing to learn from everybody, right? You're always ready to take lessons. I don't care who they are. You always have somebody who has something to teach you that you didn't know, and you should be able to, like be able to have that ear to listen to somebody. But on fight night, it's all about letting my ego fly. I'm the best fighter in the world. I don't give a fuck who you are. You know what I mean? I completely switch who I am as a person to a killer mode, and I just have that killer in me, and I just know, and I go in there and I dominate, and I switch that flip in my head. Now, that being said, I've had nights where that's not there. You know what I mean? And that's not, yeah, and it happens. But that's my goal of when I'm like, you know what I mean? I just have that, open mind and just being able to like learn and work, and and to be able to switch that kill switch of going in there. I'm the best fighter in the world, or I know like my abilities. I'm gonna show everybody what the fuck I'm gonna go do and go kill somebody.
So shoot, fear ain't never part of the equation for you, is it then?
No, I
It's
try. I mean, it fear's there, no matter what, right? It's just a feeling. It's you know what I mean. Fear and excitement are very similar feelings. You just got to be able to channel it to one. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I just maybe a lie. I do anything. I lie to myself, right? If I'm going to the gym and I'll be like, oh, I got to go do these reps. All right, I'm just gonna do half these reps. Then I just, oh, okay, let's do one more. Just do one more. Just I always lie to myself on what I'm doing, and that's kind of what I do to I'm fighting. Just I just fake it till I make it, and just like lie, tell them it's not, and then next thing you know, you're just in the action, and it happens naturally.
yeah. What's the what's a good thing or what's the hardest thing you ever had to overcome inside or outside the cage? Like that challenge your mind, your body, your spirit for this.
Um, I would say coming coming back from my knee injury is probably one of the hardest things that I had to do. Do you know what I mean? Like it was like I was as life encompassing for me. You know what I mean? Of just focusing on like I just wasn't able to move that, and I got to it pretty good. You know what I mean? But I was just like PT every single day, sleep, wake up, how to do little things every single day to make myself better. You know what I mean? Yoga, do this, do this, do this. Like, yeah, just my life is just all about doing that. The thing about being a fighter and the negative parts about being a fighter that I really like now that I don't I had to be so self-absorbed. You know what I mean? It's all about me to get myself is the best possible thing, and I don't like that really. I like, you know what I mean? I'd like, be able to give my time to other people and make fight and train other people and coach other people. And I think as a fighter, when I was fighting in the UFC, I had to be so self-absorbed, so focused because that's the only thing that mattered to help me to be as who I had to be to get ready for the cage. And I feel like I knew how to do that. I know how to do that if I have to, but I don't enjoy being like that because it does. No matter what, it's going to abuse the people around you.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean?
Connor, you're a fighter, man. What do you think about this? So, Jake Paul fight coming up with Anthony Joshua.
Oh my
I think Anthony
god.
Joshua's going to smoke him.
Oh man,
If Anthony Joshua doesn't smoke him, I don't understand boxing, and I don't know what the fuck's going on, bro. Yeah, I think that's all that means. He's just gonna.
I want him to
I
get his head knocked out, bro.
yeah,
He's got
man.
it. He's got it. And I don't know if he's just biting off too much right now than what he thinks. I mean, he's been smart in the way he's been doing things. Like, I mean, he's fighting a 55-year-old, whatever he is, maybe even older, Mike Tyson. He's fighting guys that are way smaller than him. Not to say the kid's not bad at boxing. He can box. He can throw he can throw a couple rounds. But you have to realize, like, these guys, they have the best boxing coaches possible, the best trainers. They have all the money in the world to make sure and have the right people around them to make them the best possible people they can be. They got his friend groups. He's hanging out with other fighters. He's hanging out with Sean O'Malley. He's hanging out with Ryan Garcia. He's hanging out with all those other guys. You can get knowledge and get understanding about how to box with those people. You know what I mean? However, yeah, it's Anthony Joshua. I think Anthony Joshua's gonna fucking smoke him. Like,
Oh,
there's no
yeah.
way. If that doesn't, like, I just don't think. I don't know. Yeah, maybe, but I really think that Anthony Joshua is going. They have him ranked now. I don't believe that's correct. You know what I mean? I don't know. I just if that doesn't if that happens, I just don't know anything about boxing. Also, I would like to see is he getting tested? Are they drug testing this kid? You know what I mean? Like,
I don't
'cause
know. That's a
that
good
would
question. That's a good
like.
question, man.
I feel
Money
like
talk. Money
yeah,
talk.
he's running the promotion, so maybe these, you know what I mean, these taking something. So,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? But yeah, he should get smoked.
How do you feel about? I can't remember how long it's been around. Fairly new though. How do you feel about sports betting?
I don't like it because of the people.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that I did like it's kind of fun, like, you know what I mean, like, not to say that I won't throw money down on like a fight, but I don't like that everybody became a professional fighter. Everybody became knows that because they look at stats and they look at things and it's just like everybody has something to say, and it's just feel like it brings in a weird kind of like culture. That's not like it's not like a there's no it takes out the respect out of the game a lot. But that kind of happened a long time ago with MMA. You know what I mean? To make it like a shiny thing. You know what I mean? Like, people aren't there's no like real respect, I guess. And I not to say I'm like this master kind of person or anything like that, but I feel like, like, if you've never been in the ring and you've never fucking feel what it feel like to be like walking into the cage and took what it takes to even make weight for a fight. Never
Mm-hmm.
mind even fucking step into the cage. We're just talking about I'm 170 pounds and I fight 145 pounds. You fucking do that. You know what I mean? And you're
That's
gonna
a
tell
big
me
cut. Yeah.
my skills in martial arts. You have no idea what the fuck you're talking about. You know what I mean? So like, that I just feel like these people are just like they're all over the internet just talking shit, and just because they bet in them, man. Now they're professionals because of that, and they give them people get platforms because of it now,
Yeah,
because they
man.
go because you know what I mean. They have an Instagram or a podcast that platforms people because they help you pick bets, and even if they're good at it, it just platforms a bad negative kind of person that shouldn't be platformed.
I
That's
got
what I
you,
feel like.
man. Now, now that you're totally done with UFC.
I'll probably fight again.
Okay. I want to see you fight, brother.
Yeah.
I'm trying to be ringside,
Yeah,
cuz, so you gotta
man.
Yeah.
slide a ticket, bro.
I,
So
I want
I,
to see them
I,
raising your hand.
yeah, I'm like I said, like this, my career is really eats at me. You know what I mean? I'm where I'm split is because I took those bad knockouts and how it affected my brain and how it affected my head, and there's that part of me that's like, I don't think what's the ultimate goal here? Like, you know what I mean? I'm 33 years old. I get into the thing, I add extra more damage. Is how much is that going to really affect me later on in my life? Is that really worth it just to prove for my ego to see, you know what I mean? You know, to see where I can make it, or also it's like I said, how self-absorbing. I have my girlfriend and I have my family, you know what I mean? I don't want to She's already gone through fucking enough with me, you know what I mean, doing that shit. And she's a fighter as well, so like I've kind of took all that time, you know,
Hmm.
maybe I need to give that time back to her. And then the other thing is so there's that. But however, you know, I still feel like here in this local scene, I don't feel like I got enough respect from these other people around
I
here,
got you, brother.
and I have something to say. Like, for me, it's not even about fighting to make it, how far I can make it, whatever that happened. It's about, you know, proving my gym's better than everybody else's gym around me. So that's the reason why I want to fight right now, and prove to the people that are learning from underneath me that I'm the best gym around here. And so I will fight any of the other people in the local scene just to prove that point. That's the way I look at it, and that's why I want to get back into the cage and fight. Is for that, and it kind of gives me a different kind of
Yeah.
passion to fight for.
So kind of also right now you got your gym and you're kind of mentoring fighters too, yeah?
Yeah,
That's
yeah, I am.
awesome, man.
Yeah, I got a couple kids that, you know, I've been training. One kid I've been training since he was 15 or 14. He's now
Hmm.
19. This kid Jude, he's been awesome. You know what I mean? It's been a really good journey watching him from the, you know, first day from the gym to seeing him in other parts of life. You know what I mean? He was kind of like a troubled kid, and I fucking, you know, put him into the right direction. And I know I'm very super proud of him. My girlfriend, a couple other fighters coming up, and then like recently, I just, you know, I got a bunch of new people coming in, and yeah, man, I think being a coach is just as watching them win when you know you did like a lot of been a lot of part of them becoming and seeing them accomplish their goals is just as rewarding, if not more rewarding, than actually fighting and winning a fight for myself.
Well, I'll tell you right now, Connor, I really want to see you back in that ring, man.
I think so, me too.
I think you're gonna do some really great things. Just, hey, man, stay focused. Keep your azimuth where it needs to go, and you're gonna be great, brother.
I appreciate that, bro. Thank you.
I uh, I really
Shit.
appreciate you coming on the show,
Thank you, guys. I
Super.
appreciate you guys too. Thank you so much, man.
Well,
I had a good time talking to you guys.
thanks, man. So where can people find you?
You can find me on my Instagram, connormatthews.ufc.
Okay.
I think that's all I got. I may have a website, Connor. I think it's
Mm.
controllermma.com is a website. You might get some information on me on there. And I think that's it right now. I don't really have too much other stuff. I used to sell swag and stuff. I don't have that right now. I've been busy, been grinding right now. Like I said, I got to get through this fire academy. Once I
Hmm.
get through that, I can refocus myself, and you might see me in the cage this summer.
Oh man, that'll be
Okay.
awesome. Hey, I'm definitely now that I know, I definitely want to come out and check your gym out, brother.
I'd love to
Yeah.
have you, bro. I'd love to have you down here in Mom's basement, man. It'd
Yeah,
be awesome.
I did level 1 and 2 combative, so I mean
Let's
it's not
go.
much in the army, but I love rolling around.
Yeah,
It's
that's what we do. A
fun.
ton of that. So we come up here. If you ever get up here, the best days right now to come up here is on a Sunday.
Okay,
So come up here on a Sunday. We got open mat. We get some food or something, hang out after. That'd be awesome. I'd love to have you up here.
that's awesome, Connor. Hey, thank y'all for tuning in. Until the
Uh,
next one, stay swaggy, stay strong, y'all.
Stay swaggy, stay
Peace.
strong. I can say
Peace.
that.
Yeah.
Thank